All right, welcome back, and I'm Rohan Daly. Still with me is Juliet Cuthbert, and we are now joined by the Managing Director of Jamaica Focus MediaStream Corporation, more importantly, a German national, Sven Littkowski. Did I get that right?
That's correct. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody.
All right. How long have you been in Jamaica? Or is Jamaica home for you now?
In fact, yes, I'm living here. I have registered my company. It's an IT company in 2004. Since that time, I'm basically here in Jamaica. I'm living here.
So how have you enjoyed it so far? You like it?
I would say business-wise, it's interesting. It is a good business here. I like to be here, and it's wherever you are. If it is not your own country, it's an interesting experience to be there. So I like it here very much.
Why Jamaica?
I went to different countries, and I looked at different countries, what can I do in those countries. So I decided to come to Jamaica because in my field there are many things which can be done, and as I say, I do websites, we do trade platforms, international trade platforms for Jamaican companies with broadcast capabilities. And here in Jamaica, there have been, when I came, not as many companies as you have now, but even today we have a very good place in the business, and it is a good business, I would say.
Are you doing anything with the whole Berlin? The World Championships is in Berlin. You are from Germany. Are you doing anything with your company?
And he's specifically from Berlin as well, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from Berlin. I was born in Berlin. I grew up in Berlin. I am a Berliner. And even John F. Kennedy said that before. So I follow up closely, actually. In fact, we get, even in my company, many phone calls from Germany, German companies calling, family members, friends, other people, and ask us all about the Jamaican team. So yes, I follow up very much, and it is a very interesting constellation. The Jamaicans, where I'm living now, having performances in my own town. It is great. It is great.
Have you found it difficult to adjust from the German culture to Jamaica?
There are some things where you have to adjust. Other things, what is much easier. I would say there are things where we Germans can learn from the Jamaicans, and there are things vice versa where Jamaica can also learn from other countries like Germany or wherever. It is a little bit adjusting, but I would say after so many years being here, the adjustment goes pretty easy if you invest time and a goodwill.
How do you feel about the Germans right now and their performance in Berlin this time around?
Well, I saw the Germans getting the third place, Jamaica making the first place. I would say it is nice for me, but my heart, since I'm living here in Jamaica, is undoubtedly with the Jamaican team.
Oh, you don't say.
It
You
sounds
just say
odd,
that.
isn't it? It sounds odd.
But it's not commonplace for us to see Jamaica ahead of Germany in anything, actually, whether it is sports, whatever it is, international affairs, but Jamaica here and Germany way down here. How does that make you feel?
I don't care much. I would say what counts is really the performance. And since the Olympic Games, I can tell you the Germans are much in favor. Many, many, many Germans, based on what I'm hearing from Germany, are in a strong favor of the Jamaicans. So it is quite interesting to see, and I'm happy for the Jamaican team that they're performing that good, and I hope they will continue.
All right, we were talking off here about the Brandenburg Gate, which is one of the more iconic landmarks right now in Germany, and you know it was commissioned back in the 1800s by King Frank William II. Let's talk about the Berlin Wall, and you have quite an interesting story that you were relating to us before we came on air about having been there, which was actually in 1989, the reunification and all of that. Tell us about that story, you know, and why it was special to you.
That was a special event. You don't have normal events like that in your lifetime. It takes really generations to have an event of that international scale like what happened those days. I remember I was actually sick. I had a cold. I was in my bed. It was in the evening. It was in the winter time. So in Germany, further away from the equator, it was dark already quite early. So it was really dark outside. I watched a movie. Suddenly, we had these subtitles below the movie in which we were being requested to stay tuned for breaking news in a few minutes. And then there was this nervous news speaker, really nervous. I remember that. He was not prepared at well. It was a very big news, actually. and emotions were being high, even with these new speakers. They are saying now at those special days, the Berlin Wall was actually breaking apart at 3 locations in Berlin. Where, as I say, I come from Berlin, and it was a big news. So one of the locations where it was breaking apart was actually the Brandenburg Gate. And a friend of mine, a very good friend, called me right after, and he said, we should go to this location. I was sick. I was really sick. I had fever and so on. I was not feeling good at all. But yes, I decided I will go to this location. We went to this place, and when we arrived, 10,000 of West Berliners already there. It was dense, it was full, it was fully populated. And we saw really a crack in the wall getting bigger. We saw even people standing and sitting on the wall, what you could never have done before, because the East Berlin troops would have just warn you and soon after shoot you away. You
oh, Christ. And you have come far away from that now. All right. Today is the final day, and as you mentioned initially, you have been enjoying the championships, particularly from a Jamaican standpoint. You figured or thought that we would have done this good, this great in your country?
It's a good question. The Olympic Games showed already that there is a very good performance with the Jamaican team. I think the Germans were being in favor of the Jamaican team since that time. So we expected that the Jamaican team will make a name, that they would perform that good. You cannot predict those things because you have many top sporters from all around the world. So it's not just about performance, because the other sporters also have a good performance. So to perform that good is really a masterpiece. It is, you cannot predict those things. It is fantastic.
Sven Littkowski, you're a Berliner, the Managing Director of Jamaica Focus MediaStream Corporation. We thank you so much for joining us. He's now a Jamaican, that's what he says. He loves Jamaica so much. You love the food?
I love the food,
dish?
but I still miss some German food. My favorite dish, I like it's very spicy. I like the jerk food. I like jerk pork, jerk chicken. My belly will tell you that, actually. I like much of the Jamaican food. Are you
married to a German or to a Jamaican? Are you,
in fact, I'm not married. I'm married with my business.
I'm
looking out, so let's see what happens in the future, but I'm not married right now.
Stop touching the man, All right, thank you so much, Sven Littkowski.